Bloodlight Calamity. Lao Qian used to be the second in command in the unit. In his own words, in this life, he really did a lot of work. He didn't suffer less crimes, he didn't complain less. And he didn't catch any benefits in the end. And he fell inside and outside and was not a person. Lao Qian is the second in command. And when anyone encounters something difficult on weekdays, he takes the lead in contributing money and efforts, and tries his best to cover for others. If the people below have a small mistake, Lao Qian never reports the news. And after a merciless criticism and education, he will stop here. What are the welfare benefits in the unit? Lao Qian is more active than the boss. And he will not give an inch to the battle. And he must ensure that the people under his command maximize their interests. Every time it makes the boss embarrassed and awkward. He feels that Lao Qian is really overstepping his responsibilities and is self-righteous. But the people below are close to Lao Qian. And everyone brings him to be a caring and reassuring person. Seeing that Lao Qian's prestige among the masses is about to completely crush the boss. And the number one is more and more unwilling to see him from the bottom of their hearts. Lao Qian has no bad habits, and if he wants to talk about hobbies, he likes to play chess and play a few erhu. Lao Qian's performance level is really not flattering. But the big guy respects him and loves him from the heart. And loves his dog to praise him. So every time Lao Qian holds an erhu recital in the unit, he can win a full house. After his retirement, Lao Qian is still keen on these two hobbies every day. One day he was playing chess with someone in the community. And suddenly heard someone say next to him, You're going to have a bloody disaster recently, pay attention. Lao Qian was in a fierce battle with others, and he didn't even raise his head. Let alone get distracted. Bloodlight? Grandmother Tilda. Lao Qianshan said that I have been educated for many years. A staunch materialist, can I believe those nonsense? There is a young couple living downstairs in Lao Qian's house, who has just been happy to have a precious child. The child is not yet full moon, and every night on time to let out a sad voice. The neighborhood is unbearable. Lao Qian went downstairs to look for it. The little couple didn't even let the door in. People said, "You are so old and still competing with the children in the moon?" He wants to cry, "Can we stop it?" Lao Qian went to the neighborhood committee again in a fit of anger. But the neighborhood committee said that we can only stop and punish the situation of maliciously disturbing the people and causing trouble. And we can't come forward with the matter of children crying at night. As soon as Lao Qian heard this, he also came up, "Okay. Then everyone will sleep. Since then, every night." As soon as the little doll downstairs opens its voice, Lao Qian picks up the hukin and begins to accompany. This cry was accompanied by the harsh and ugly sound of Lao Qian's sawing wood. And it was almost the lives of the neighbors in the building. Within 2 weeks, the upstairs and downstairs households were basically all guilty of autonomic disorders. Now the neighborhood committee had to come forward to mediate. But Lao Qian's temper came up, the oil and salt did not enter. And it was useless for anyone to persuade him. Otherwise, nothing to talk about. One morning, not long after, Lao Qian noticed a small wreath placed in front of his street. He was so angry that he ran to the farmer's market without saying a word. Bought a lot of funeral supplies such as paper ingots. And ran downstairs to paste the little couple's house. The husband downstairs was angry and went upstairs to theorize. And pushed up without saying a word with Lao Qian's son. Lao Qian stepped forward to pull the frame and was pushed by the husband. And the corner of his forehead was touching the coffee table. And the blood flowed like a note. The two people who were beaten were dumbfounded when they saw this. And the husband downstairs quickly drove Lao Qian to the hospital. But fortunately it was only a skin injury and there was no major problem. After this toss, the young couple downstairs bought expensive supplements. And came to apologize, saying that they were young and ignorant. And they spoke too impulsively. Lao Qian was wrapped in gauze on his head, his face was red and his ears were red. And he was very embarrassed, and he said that he had reached menopause and his liver was hot. After learning from the pain, Lao Qian suddenly remembered the person who reminded him of the bloody disaster when he played chess that morning. He asked a few old friends who played chess together one by one. And the big guys said that they were not impressed. And some people ridiculed Lao Qian for not breaking his head and being confused. But Lao Qian remembered it clearly. And someone did remind him of the unpredictable prophet. But he was a fan of the authorities. And in the end he broke his head to fulfill this inescapable bloody disaster. Speaking of Lao Qian's bloody disaster, someone can still ventilate the news in advance. Isn't it because of the blessing of the good foundation with people when he was an official? People often say that harmony produces wealth. Not to mention making money, harmony can also eliminate disasters. And ward off disasters, and turn evil into good fortune. There are countless examples of making big mistakes. And causing tragedies for the sake of quick tongues. When anger strikes the heart, remember to be kind and safe. The road is one step back, and the 3 points of courtesy are tripartitial.